kind of what I told the team is I was pretty accurate in looking this over. Third and fourth down conversions weren't good for us. I thought they did a great job early in the game with some of the concepts that we haven't executed on defense, and really through the first quarter outcoached us. And then our guys made adjustments defensively. We missed about 5 tackles. I wish we would have tackled a little better at times. But then the defense rallied, made some adjustments. I thought their quarterback played really, really well. He's a good little operator. Made some plays, was able to run and scramble. We had a hard time getting our hands on him. And then offensively, the first drive, we're rolling. And then after that, we couldn't sustain. And we had a couple key penalties that set us back. And right now, we don't overcome penalties very well. When we get in those situations, we're not far enough along to overcome penalties. And we had penalties at key times. I thought that Zane really competed and made some throws, but there was 4 or 5 throws that he missed. And then I think we had about 5 or 6 drops where we need to do a better job of catching the ball. So we got to keep working as a group. We share it. Coaches got to do a better job of coaching, and then we got to stay in our system. I thought that the concepts we had were fine. We just got to continue to get better at them. And I told all of them just now that as we continue to go through the season with the new systems on both sides of the ball and the new players and we just got to stay with what we're doing and continue to work at it and get better and do some of the more basics. But really, we hit a few throws, minimize our drops. We rushed the ball fine. We were doing a good job running the football. The big penalties set us back, and then your third and fourth down. So when you look at that, combined, we're 5 of 19. They were 10 of 22. So that was a big part of the game. And then defensively, we need a better start. We let them control the first quarter and got behind the sticks, and from that point on, we were kind of playing catch up.
Mike, can it get just a little frustrating coming off a bye week and just not being able to get over the hump and make some of those plays?
Well, it's frustrating, and the thing that was impressive was the crowd. I hated it for the crowd. They had the blackout or. They show up and they were loud and very supportive, and I hated that part of it. But we just have to continue to get better at what we do. I'll say this: they played hard right till the end. I think you guys watched it, and they competed and tried to put themselves in a position. We needed it in the middle of the first quarter.
Mike, you guys hadn't lost to Tulsa since 1998. You hadn't lost to them here since 1951. What does this say about where your program is right now to get beat by that?
Well, obviously, we're trying to come around. We're not where we were 2 or 3 years ago. We're building back from where we were, and we just have to continue to push forward. We've had a couple unfortunate incidents that have contributed to it, but they're working. I have faith in them. I told them that. I have faith in the concepts. We just have to get better at it, and then we have to be able to overcome some of the things that I just talked about.
Coach, you had mentioned that you had felt like you were out-coached in certain spots in the game. Were there specific plays, preparation, stuff like that you feel like you were out-coaching?
Well, defensively, we missed some wheel routes and stuff down the boundary, and then we got confused on a coverage on the touchdown. They did a good job of coaching some of the stuff they did with their motion and stuff, and they were doing it out of a tempo, and it was good. It was good stuff. It was well planned, and they were able to execute it. And I thought the quarterback was accurate. I thought he was really good, particularly in the first half. He was tough to deal with. Couldn't get our hands on him, and he was an accurate thrower.
Coach, on
117 for Rodney Fields tonight. What did he show you kind of in the bye week leading up to today? Is he kind of getting ready to maybe take the turn around the corner and be one of the bigger backs on this team?
Well, he obviously ran the ball well and had success. He was healthy. It's the first time he's been healthy in a while. So he practiced last 4 or 5 practices that we've had him and feel like that he's healthy and running full speed. But I was pleased with the way he ran.
You mentioned on that first drive you guys had some offensive success. It seemed like maybe the offensive line couldn't keep up or couldn't open the same holes the rest of the first half. Is that what you saw, or was there something else?
I think what happened is we got behind the chains because we missed some guys in protection. I'm trying to think back, but we were driving a couple times and opened up with a play action pass on a first down and got hit in the backfield for a 7-yard loss. I remember listening on the headphones, and it's something that was pretty easy. It shouldn't have happened, and it happened. And so sometimes it happens in games, but it gets magnified, when you're not rolling. I mean, some of the same things happened to us years and years here. It just wasn't a big deal because, we had the firepower to overcome it. And right now, when we set ourselves back with a sack or a drop, or if we miss an easy throw or a penalty, it's a little bit more difficult for us to overcome. So we have to work to try to eliminate those as we continue to improve.
Mike, I remember a couple years ago when you lost to South Alabama, you guys went on quite the run. You were able to get into the postseason on a hot streak. What's your confidence level that you can do that again and that the administration at Oklahoma State will allow you that opportunity?
Well, we're playing a game against Baylor, and we're going to practice, just like I shared with you earlier. I mentioned to the team that, they're going to get better every practice and get better every game. And as we learn the system and learn each other and try to accomplish some of the things that I just mentioned that can help minimize that, then we can continue to move forward. But it's week to week. We would have loved to have won the game, but some of the things that I mentioned, or I guess pretty much all the things that I mentioned to you, in doing that, it kept us from winning the game. So what we try to do is improve on that and reduce those situations for the next game.
Mike, you've done a whole lot of winning here, at least from the outside. This sort of looks like rock bottom, coming off the Oregon blowout, losing at home to Tulsa. How does it feel for you to be in this position that you've never really been in before as a head coach?
Well, it's different, obviously. In 21 years, it's a different position that I've been in. But as I say every week, my job is to evaluate the overall program, players, the systems, and then be able to put it down and think about it. What do we need to do to improve? And then I have to make a decision on where we're at based on what we have. And that's what I do. We've certainly been in a different situation a lot of years in a row, but currently we're not in that situation, but we're in a position with guys that are still working hard, they're still learning, we're still playing with a young quarterback that, in my opinion, in 4 or 5 weeks will be considerably different than he is now, just through experience. There was times that Zane got better tonight and in pressure situations where he made plays, where he had improved from the last game. So we have to continue to work with him and develop him and bring him along, and then we have to help him with some of the other things that we mentioned. Got to do. I thought the concepts of the coaches where, last week 2 weeks ago I was concerned about we tried to do too much. I don't think that was a factor. I thought the both sides of the ball did a good job of condensing it down. We just made some mistakes that I just talked about that we want to try to overcome so we can play better next week.
Mike, you made a lot of off-season changes, hoping to rectify a 3-9 season, and 3 games in, it feels like there's still a lot to be done. Mm-hmm. What's your plan moving forward? I mean, it seems like whatever changes were made in the off-season may not be resulting in what you would like them to have resulted in.
Well, the plan is just what I've mentioned to you. So, I mean, I don't know how to explain it in any more detail than what I did over the last 7 minutes. I think I was pretty detailed in what we need to do, and without watching the video, I think that's what happened. And, you know, you guys watch the game, you get a field, you're rolling, you get a field, and you get a sack. Now it's 2nd and 17. You know, we hit a big play, I don't know what it was, 18 or 20 yarder going down inside the 40, and we had a offensive pass interference. Now we're in 1st and 25 on our own 38 or whatever it was. Those are things that are glaring right now for us that we need to try to minimize in order to move forward. And we need to bring the quarterback along. We've got to bring him along.
I guess as I think about plan, maybe it's bigger picture. You know, obviously you guys have to go week to week, but do you feel like what you did in the offseason, thinking big picture, were those the right moves at this point?
Sure they were. Yes.
When you get through these 3 games, is there something you can say, okay, tell the team?
Say it again, I didn't.
Clean slate coming up next week, playing Baylor, starting Big 12 play. Is it something you can tell the team? There's a clean slate now. There's league play coming up.
You know, we'll spend time with them on Monday. And one good thing, and I mentioned to the team in there, is I can tell they're all hurting, which is good. There's not finger pointing, which is good, because it's difficult for them. You know, these guys, they work hard. They put a lot of time in, as we all know, and they want success. So I don't know if it's as easy as a clean slate, because, you know, we can't get rid of the 3 games we've already played. But one thing we can do is, as coaches, we can continue to work and put together plans that we think, based on what happened in these first 3 games, give us a chance to play well in the next game. That's what's really important. And then continue to rep the same stuff to try to minimize some of the things that put us in a bad situation. That's the plan.
Fans, us, we mostly, you know, we see the results. You are with the team every day. Does this situation, does this group feel different than last year?
I'm not following you.
You know, had a rough start last year and felt like things maybe snowballed. You know, not to start, you would have wanted this year, but does this feel like a different situation?
Well, last year we went through 4 quarterbacks, and that made it difficult, you know, as you know. I mean, there's no reason to not call it like it is. I mean, that's extremely difficult. So right now we're working with Zane. He's young. He's what, this is 2nd start. And so he does some good things, and there's some things that he wants to do better. So as we move forward, we got to put him in a position to where he can continue to get better. Some of the things that happen is just experience, and but we like, you know, kind of to Jenny's question, I like the things that are going on, and we try to minimize the crucial errors at big times in the game. It's going to make a big difference. We just got to work. And I know that sounds like it's easy, but we just have to work at it and try to minimize them. You know, I'll go back to the first thing I said when we came in here. They were 10 of 22, almost 50% on 3rd and 4th, and we were 5 and 19. That, with a few missed throws, some drops, the first quarter where I thought they got us out of coverage and stuff, makes a big difference. You know, you're talking with the penalties, the 15-yarder, you know, you're talking, like we talked about in the press conference, you might have been, I think you were there, 8 or 10 plays. And I mentioned the 8 or 10 plays are showing their face more now than ever in college football, in my opinion, and I think that's a good example of tonight.
You mentioned bits and pieces of what you liked about Zane. Is there one kind of overarching part of what he did that you thought was most impressive tonight? Or
What Zane did?
Zane did.
He competed. You saw him. He ran. He fought. There's times he ran the football. He's learning. He's learning on the run, but he competed and showed some grit right till the end. We had our backs against the wall, and He fought right till the end. As long as he continues to do that, he's going to grow and develop. This system he's in, it's new to him. I mean, this is a new system for him. So he's learning and growing. And as he gets more reps at this and gets a better feel for it, he should continue to improve. We did a good job of protecting him overall for the most part, which is another thing that we have to be very aware of.
Coaches, as I'm sure you know, fans are upset. They're all wondering if you should be the head coach even tomorrow morning. What would be your message to the Oklahoma
My
State
message,
fans?
I gave you a message earlier about the fans. They were awesome tonight. They really were. The stadium was full and they were fired up and they were awesome. But those aren't decisions that I make. And my decision is to do exactly what I mentioned earlier and get these guys and keep moving forward and go on down the road. And that's what we do.
Last one.
Y'all had Zane in the last two drives, there were some times when, you had to throw the ball. They knew you had to throw the ball. How did you think Zane did?
Well, that's what I was talking about. I thought he was pretty good because they knew, right? It wasn't any secret, and he hit a couple throws, and then he checked down to the back in the end, right? That's a move that sometimes young players don't make because they see, okay, you're down, we got to cover 50 yards. And he checks down to the back. The back got, 15 yards? We run up there and clock it. Before that, he makes a heck of a throw. 18 makes a heck of a catch. So these are things where he's improving. But there is not a fast forward button for the development of quarterback. I don't know where it's at. I don't know how to do it. And there's going to be 5 or 6 throws, I'm going to guess, that he's going to wish he had back. But there are also some, in the second half, he's one half better than he was in the first half in experience. And so he hit some of those key throws.
Thanks, guys.
Good? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet, guys.